Auntie Kamala, you can start now.
Can I start now?
Yes.
Oh. 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 Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll be continuing with chapter number 7 today. Your embodiment of Athma. Baba once elucidated the nature of Athma and its relationship with the constituents of the physical body, like limbs, organs, senses, mind, intellect, etc. The essence of what he said is briefly given below. Mind, manas, consciousness, chitta, awareness, senses, the indriyas, all these joined together to give full shape to body. But Atma is not the combination of all these things. There is Atma in the body, there is Atma in the mind, and there is Atma in the consciousness and the senses. All these function under the direction of Atma. This can be illustrated by a simple analogy. A car has steering, clutch, brakes, and several other parts. Does each of them function by itself? When one travels by car, does the horn blow on its own? Does the steering move by itself? Obviously not. There is a driver behind all these. Likewise, body is the vehicle of Atma, the driver. That driver makes the eyes see, ears hear, and mouth speak. It's only as long as the driver is present that the various parts perform their allotted functions. Once the driver abandons the body, the very same eyes can no longer see, the same ears cannot hear, the same hands can do nothing. The same mouth can talk no more. All the organs and parts become non-functional. Earlier, all these were made to work to function by a master, the Atma. As long as that master remains in its body, this body is Shivam, divine, auspicious. When he leaves, it is but a sabam, that's the corpse. If we deeply ponder over our true identity, as Swami repeatedly suggests, we will soon realize that we are but embodiments of the inner self, Atma, and the parts, organs, and other constituents of this earthly body are merely instruments and by no means that inner self. The Simla incident. Here is yet another instance of the suprahuman divine power of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Once Sri Satya Sai went to Simla along with some of his devotees. Swami Karunyananda too was in the group. The trip saw an unbelievable event. It was evening when the party arrived at their lodgings in Simla. At about 6:30 p.m., as darkness approached, a 2-year-old boy died in a house in the town. The parents were grief-stricken. Seeing their agony, a friend advised them, Sri Satya Sai Baba is now in town. Take your son's dead body there, place him at his feet and beg for mercy. The distraught parents wrapped the dead body in a piece of cloth and took it to Baba. Heartbroken with grief, the mother laid their dead child at Baba's feet and wailed, Swami, please bring him back to life. Wake him up to life. As the poor woman was crying, the ever-merciful Bhagwan cast a compassionate look at the dead boy. The boy suddenly came to life and began crying. The tears of grief and desperation of the parents turned to tears of joy. They watched the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai with their copious tears. The devotees too were overjoyed and immensely moved at this miraculous happening and hailed the glory of Bhagavan with resounding cries of Jai Sai Ram, Jai Sai Ram. Ultimate dissolution, Layam. Karnam Subbamma was a blessed soul who cared for Swami when he was a child and was known as Satyam and loved him as if he was her own son. As the ever swelling crowds of devotees arrived to have his darshan, the lady cooked meals and fed them. Through endless service to Swami and his devotees, she used to feel that her life's mission was fulfilled. When Prashanti Nilayam was being built, Swami told her one day that she would live for only one more year. Though somewhat taken aback, she pulled herself together and devoted herself with more sincerity and devotion to Swami's service. Her health was slowly deteriorating. Kith and kin of her natal home took her to their village to look after her. But she could scarcely endure separation from her beloved Swami and returned very soon to Puttaparthi to do as much service as possible, despite her poor and deteriorating health. Time passed. Some devotees came to Puttaparthi to invite Swami to their place. Before leaving Puttaparthi, Swami promised Subbamma that at the time of her demise, he would make it a point to reach her and place holy Ganga waters in her mouth. Soon thereafter, Subbamma passed away. Some of the villagers recalled Swami's promise and talked about it mockingly that Swami did not keep his promise of offering holy water to Subbamma before her death. At that moment, Bhagwan was among his devotees in a far-off place near Tirupati. He set out for Puttaparthi, telling them that he had to go to Puttaparthi urgently. On his arrival, he was informed that Subbamma had breathed her last several hours earlier. He found Subbamma's body already with ants crawling all over. He announced, "Subbamma is not dead, she's still alive." But those around insisted that she had stopped breathing long ago, that she had indeed died, but that they were nevertheless keeping the body only for Swami's arrival. But Swami reiterated that Subbamma was still alive. He came close to her and called out, "Look, Subbamma, I am your Swami. I have come." And to the consternation of everybody around, Subbamma opened her eyes wide. Tears trickled out of her eyes. The onlookers were dumbstruck. Swami tenderly touched her lips with his fingers, and the cool waters of the celestial Ganga flowed out of his divine fingers onto the parched lips. She lapped them up and swallowed. Her face was aglow with indescribable satisfaction and happiness. She touched Swami's hand softly as she closed her eyes for the last time. Swami knows perfectly the exact moment of everyone's death. Creation, maintenance, and ultimate dissolution are within Swami's absolute control. That is why he is God himself. Creation, maintenance, and dissolution are in my hand. Swami, once conversing with devotees in his interview room, he showed them his palm and asked what was there in it. Somebody answered that there was nothing there. But Baba said in all serenity, "This empty hand holds everything." When he closed it and opened it a moment later, there was a locust there. Wonder of wonders, there was also a tiny leaf to serve as the insect's food. The locust was actually feeding on it. In a little while, Swami closed his fists and opened it to reveal that nothing was there. The devotees present in the room could not believe their eyes. Through this incident, Swami revealed to all of us, ignorant as we are, that creation, maintenance, and dissolution lie in his control. This incident took place about 30 years ago. Bhagwan explains his divinity in a few pregnant words. He declared, Ba denotes creation, Ga denotes protection, and Va denotes ultimate dissolution. He who embodies these three supreme powers in Bhagwan is Bhagavan. Herein lies the sublime secret of my essentiality. Om Shri Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Sai Ram, the Lord of the Cosmos. This play is his. The role is his. The lines are written by him. He directs, he designs the dress and decoration, the gesture and the tone, the entrance and exit. You have to act the part and receive his approbation when the curtain falls. Baba. All elements lie in his control. The five elements, pancha, bhutas, earth, water, light, air, and space, are in the total control of Sri Satya Sai Baba. We will be able to appreciate the veracity of this statement from a few incidents. Rescue from fire. One day, Baba developed high temperature all of a sudden. It was 104.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Devotees were all perturbed, but happily for them, the temperature came down to 99 degrees Fahrenheit within 5 minutes or so. None of those around him could understand why the temperature rose so abruptly and also came down equally quickly. At about 9:30 p.m., an open-air dinner was arranged on the roof of Swami's residence. The night was cool and pleasant, and there was a beautiful moonlight. As everyone was enjoying the meal in the fine atmosphere and the prevailing merriment, Baba turned to a devotee and said, "When you return home tomorrow, caution your mother to be very careful with fire. At the same time, assure her that I will always be with her and protect her from every hazard." Everyone was somewhat taken aback by Baba's words. What made him talk of fire and of future hazards? They pressed Baba to let them know what the matter was. Swami explained. His mother was praying in her puja room. A number of lighted oil lamps were around her, and as she was offering prayers, her sari caught fire without her noticing it. I had to go to her help and put out the flames. Some devotees obtained Swami's permission to make a trunk call to the lady to find out how she was doing. The lady herself answered their call and confirmed the incident. Swami too spoke to her and consoled her, mentioning that it was he who had doused the flames out of compassion for her. But the lady, devout as she was, anxiously inquired, "Swami, while trying to save me, you have burnt your own hands?" He reassured her sweetly, "No, not at all. The flames caused me no harm. Only my temperature went up a little but soon subsided. Do not worry." Rescue from flood. During the days when Baba stayed in the old temple, there were once floods in the river Chitravati. Water of the flood rose steadily and soon it reached the temple and surrounded it. The situation was quite grim as the water threatened to enter the temple in a few minutes and inundated everything. At that moment, Baba walked into the waters and said, "That's enough, go back now." Suddenly, the floods began to recede. As described earlier, when for the first time the week-long Veda Purusha Sapta Jnana Yagnam was performed, devotees thronged the Prashanti Nilayam in thousands. Just when the valedictory offering Purna Ahuti to Agni, the fire god, was about to commence, the sky became overcast. Massive dark clouds coupled with thunder and lightning threatened to bring about a heavy downpour. The present-day auditorium had not yet been built then, and the vast gathering assembled under the open sky had no shelter whatsoever. If it rained, the whole program would come to a standstill. People were growing restive at the disturbing prospect. Noticing their anxiety, Baba assured them, "Don't worry, there will be no rain." In a little while, the dark clouds cleared. The Purna Ahuti went on a schedule and was duly completed without a hitch. Water turns into petrol. When Baba was going to Bangalore by car, a little ahead of the town of Chikkabalapur, the vehicle stalled as the petrol ran out. There was no filling station anywhere nearby. Baba asked for water to be bought from the nearby pond. When it was bought in a container, he dipped his hand in the water and stirred it a little. He then asked the driver to fill the petrol tank with the water so treated. The engine sparked to life and the journey was completed without a problem. On another similar occasion, Baba, accompanied by a group of devotees, visited Aurangabad and Ellora in Maharashtra and was proceeding by car to Hyderabad in Andhra Pradesh. On the way, the car stopped for want of fuel. At that time, petrol dealers were on a statewide agitation and went on strike, and there was no way to replenish the tank. Bhagwan just ordered the car run, and it started to run. After reaching Hyderabad, Baba told Sri Kasturi, without a single drop of fuel, we had to cover 150 miles. What to talk of petrol? Not even water was available on the way this time to fill the fuel tank. We saw no stream nor pond on the route we traveled by. Sunshine in the Himalayas. We have already read earlier that in June 1961, Bhagwan took his parents and some devotees on a pilgrimage to the holy shrine of Badrinath. Sri Burgulla Ramakrishna Rao, the then governor of Uttar Pradesh, also joined the entourage and saw to it that every facility was provided to the pilgrims. The trip from Rishikesh to Badrinath, situated in the higher reaches of the Himalayas, where snowfalls are common, and back to Rishikesh was completed in just 7 days. All through that period, the travelers encountered not a single snowfall. On the other hand, there was welcome sunshine. The hospitable sun made the weather comfortable and enjoyable. Local inhabitants noticed this unusual weather and felt happy. The phenomenon was also observed by a number of holy persons engaged in spiritual pursuits at those lonely and inhospitable heights. They guessed quite correctly that a highly distinguished spiritual person must be visiting the region and causing by his presence such agreeable, though unseasonal weather. A devotee questioned Bhagwan, Swami, you eat very little. Your body comprises the 5 elements, Panchabhutas. Then where from does it derive its potency? Baba gave a very pithy reply. The 5 elements give me no potency. It is I who gives them their potency. Om Sri Satya Sai Parabrahma Nama. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Sairam Auntie, please unmute yourself.
Chapter 9, Why Fear When I'm Here? God is neither distant nor distinct from you, Baba. During the time when Sri Kasturi took up permanent residence in Prashanti Nilayam, Swami used to visit the homes of residents who were then only a few. Thus, those residents could often share the blissful company of Bhagwan. During one such visit to Kasturi's home, Swami asked Srimati Kasturi to sing a song. She sang a Kannada song composed by herself. Ninu Nambi Bandi, Ena Kai Bidadiu, Yana Mahimani Sai Nata. My father Sai, I have come to you in the fullest faith that you will protect me. Please do not let go my hand. After she finished, Swami replied to her with his own song composed in Tamil, which was her mother tongue. Virumbam Muni Taruvari, say Baba Venda Muni Taruvari. Why fear even before you ask? Sai Baba showers boons. Even before you pray, he runs to you to give protection. Child saved from a truck. The following incident happened in 1955. Residential quarters for devotees were coming up around Swami's residence in Prashanti Nilayam. An 11-year-old boy was actively participating in the construction activity. A truck loaded with bricks arrived, and the boy was helping in unloading them. After the truck was emptied, he stood at its rear, shaking dust off his body and clothes. He didn't notice that the driver started the engine and the vehicle was moving backwards. The driver, unfortunately, did not see the boy and drove the truck very fast. To this utter shock, the boy suddenly found himself pushed violently by the huge vehicle. Petrified with fear and shock, he lost all bodily control and just collapsed where he stood. The inexorable did come to pass. The heavy type of an enormous vehicle crushed his tender leg. The only thing the boy could do in that awful moment before he became unconscious was to give out a loud cry, Swami. People nearby ran to his rescue, pulled his aside, and wrapped a towel around the crushed limb. Totally confused, they did not know what to do next. They could only raise their hands and look towards Swami's residence. To their surprise, they saw Swami standing in the balcony and looking directly in their direction. Before they opened their mouth to tell him what has happened, Swami told them to take the boy to the hospital adjoining his residence. They did as directed. The boy's brother afterwards ran to Swami. He loudly wailed, "Swami, my younger brother has lost his leg." Swami consoled him. "Do not worry. Nothing has happened to his leg." As he uttered the sweet words, he pulled back the sleeve of his shirt and showed his open palm. On the palm could be distinctly seen the marks of the truck's heavy tire. Swami told the distraught young man that he had inserted his own palm between the truck's tire and the little boy's leg, so that the huge weight of the truck would not bear heavily upon the leg. When doctors found that not a single bone of the boy's leg was damaged, they were astonished and also very much relieved. Due to Swami's divine will and immense mercy, the boy recovered soon. A similar incident happened in 1999. In January 1999, the sports day was being celebrated in the Hillview Stadium in Prashanti Nilayam. Despite Swami's suggestion not to be adventurous, students were displaying adventurous gymnastic skills. It was the turn of an acrobatic event in gymnastics in which students were participating in somersault on a truck. Nobody noticed that the nuts and bolts of the iron bars arranged for the event got loosened. Children had completed their event successfully, and there was a huge applause. At the end, Swami didn't join the students to pose for a photograph, which he normally does. Instead, he went back to the Purna Chandra Hall, where he resides. He showed his body to Indulal Shah and to some of the students there. There was blood all over. Swami was profusely bleeding. Everyone was astonished and worried. I lied below the truck and saved the students. Now I have to wash the blood. The kids were requesting me to join them and pose for a photograph. Poor kids, they do not know. Swami said in his usual calm and compassionate voice. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sairam, for joining.
Sai Ram.
Yeah.